It's time for Grizz Beat, a full-court press of highlights, insights, and debate around the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Tune in each week on the latest conversations with regional and national insiders locked in on the Grizzlies. Running point from Grind City Media Studios, our host, Jason Smith.
Welcome to Grizz Beat. I am your host, Jason Smith of 92.9 FM ESPN, and as usual, we've got a packed show for you today as the Grizzlies get prepared to face the Dallas Mavericks and rookie star Cooper Flagg on Thursday. Also, we watched an 83-point performance in the NBA last night. Can't even believe I'm saying it. And frankly, the person that was doing it, Bam Adebayo, that's crazy. We'll have to touch on that. A little housekeeping first, obviously. Make sure you've got those notifications set and that you're joining us weekly every Wednesday at 2 p.m. for Grizz Beat, getting the latest intel, exclusive interviews, and opinions that you're not going to get anywhere else. Now, let me introduce you to our panel for today's show. To my left is the great DeMichael Cole, the Commercial Appeals veteran, Grizzlies beat reporter, and co-host of the Locked On Grizz podcast. DeMichael had a great piece this week over the Commercial Appeal in which he talked with doctors about Zach Edey's ankle recovery. DeMichael, great to have you with us as always, brother.
It's always great to be back with you guys every time.
And
always great.
Next to DeMichael is a living legend, a Memphis Sports Hall of Famer, of course, and former longtime WMC TV Action News 5 sports director, Jarvis Greer. Jarvis in a different seat today, but here as
I'm
usual.
in the guru chair. I got to watch I got to be a contrarian today.
You bet.
I got to come from the opposite side.
Got to be a contrarian. And speaking of that contrarian, via Zoom this week is the man we call the guru, freshly off the road from Philadelphia. He's senior editor, contributor, analyst, and the hardest working man at Grind City Media. Michael Wallace, how are you, brother, fresh off the road?
Hey, I'm still on the road, but I'm back in my hometown, Washington, D.C., man. I took the train down from Philly to D.C. to check on a beloved family member real quick who's going through some health issues. So, you know, just keeping my family and y'all thoughts and prayers, man. But I couldn't miss this opportunity to check in with you guys. So I'll be back in Memphis soon, but I just wanted to stop in and back at the D.C. crib for a minute.
Dude, so thankful to have you. Realize now that you did take that detour, personal, family, and everything else. So great to have you here, Michael. And obviously, all our thoughts and prayers are with you and the family,
also
brother.
Birthday, Michael, I think. I
Also
think you got
birthday,
a birthday. Didn't you celebrate a birthday on the road, Guru?
Yeah. Monday, man. Monday. So it was all good. The Grizzlies, I was working on my birthday, but hey, listen, man, I got a job that I love, so it's always fun. But yes, celebrated one more trip around.
I think we thought about buying you, so we didn't.
Don't look a year older, Guru. Still
Happy
looking
belated,
smooth.
man. Happy
belated birthday to you. That's the panel for this week's show. Of course, we've got the very talented CJ Hurt behind the glass, keeping us in line and on time as usual. And now to our starting five. It's where we begin every Wednesday. The top five storylines surrounding the Memphis Grizzlies. Michael's got the latest for us on the Grizz, of course, coming off that 0-2 back-to-back versus Brooklyn and Philly. Michael, I hand it off to you.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now, you know, obviously the Grizzlies are really fighting. They're really trying to stay competitive and doing things to develop the rest of the season. But the results are the results. 5 straight losses right now. The Grizzlies are riding a 5-game losing streak. Second time, one off of their season-long 6-game losing streak. Second time this season that they've lost at least 5 in a row. Third or fourth time that they've lost 4 straight games. But the bottom line is that the last 5 games, the Grizzlies have scored 110 or more points in each one of those games. Now, the offense isn't necessarily the problem. The issue is defense and rebounding, particularly late in games. Coming off this back-to-back road set, we saw 2 occurrences where the Grizzlies had phenomenal first quarters and then kind of faded as they went down the stretch, couldn't get it going in the fourth quarter. And both times the Nets and the 76ers ran away from them. But here's a couple of good things. A couple of good developments is that help may be on the way, particularly in the front court, where veteran 40-year-old Taj Gibson is working his way back. I talked to Tuomas Isolo over the weekend, and he said that Taj Gibson is getting some conditioning in. That ramp up is taking the turn for the better, and he expects and hopes that Taj will be available in the coming days. So I'm thinking he's probably earmarking that visit to Chicago over the weekend to get back out there with the Grizzlies, but we will see from that standpoint. You know, the other thing is that the Grizzlies need some help up front, rebounding, interior defense. Those are things that Taj Gibson can certainly help with. So we'll see where that goes from there. Also, Taylor Hendricks is another big body, 6'9" guy. And to me, he's one of the most intriguing developmental prospects the Grizzlies will have on the roster these last 18 games. We'll see what his progress is like. But I had a chance in Philadelphia to catch up with Taylor to talk about sort of what his process has been like getting acclimated with the Grizzlies. Take a listen.
All right, fellas, I'm joined here by Taylor Hendricks, Grizzlies newcomer right here, forward, power forward, small forward, center, whatever the Grizzlies need on any given night, this guy can play the position. You know, Taylor, when you talk about the first, I guess full month that you've been with the team, what are some of the things that you've seen yourself grow from and sort of develop in this opportunity here in Memphis?
Just my adaptability. This team's put me in different situations where I've had to play the 5, 3, 4. So, just being able to do that and then also getting accustomed to the offense has really helped my game.
You're one of the guys that obviously came into the NBA, lottery pick, top 10 lottery pick coming out of UCF in that situation. And then you had the, catastrophic leg injury, man. I mean, I had a chance to see that. And for you to be back here standing on your own 2 feet, piecing your career back together at such a young age, what was that journey like for you?
I would say it's hard, man, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. I'm glad, everything, happened the way it did. And I'm just blessed, honestly, to be here and being able to get an opportunity to play.
What did it take mentally to get through that? This was obviously everything was right there for you in front of you, and it still is. And what you've been able to show a lot of our fans here in Memphis is that you can be that versatile forward. You can be a guy that can get up and down. You can defend multiple positions, and you can play multiple positions. But mentally, how much did it shake your confidence, and how much did you have to put that back together?
I would say it shook it quite a bit, but for me, just staying solid within my faith, and just knowing who I am and just trying to stay confident that way is what really helped me. And then getting out on the court and then being able to be back on the court and do things that I was able to do before, helped with that as well.
How much of your game have we seen? I mean, how much more? How would you say if you had to put yourself at 100% the grade where you are, what percentage would you put yourself at in terms of being all the way back and really expanding your game to where you want it to be?
Honestly, I couldn't even give you a percent, man. I couldn't even give you a percent. I feel like the sky's the limit with my game and, where we could go with this team. So I wish I could give you a percent, but I really can't.
Like you said, the sky's the limit from that standpoint. You're not even going to limit yourself with those expectations. What do you want to do in these last 19 games to sort of acclimate yourself and sort of give yourself a runway for what can be an exciting future here moving forward?
Just to continue to get used to the offense, get more accustomed to my teammates, and just continue to make mistakes. I feel like that's part of becoming a better basketball player, just making mistakes and learning from them. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right. For Taylor Hendricks, I'm Michael Wallace. Back to the studio.
Good stuff there from Taylor Hendricks. Appreciate Michael Wallace told you he's a hard-working man. Taylor Hendricks certainly looks the part. He's got the athleticism and everything else, just needs the opportunity. Certainly going to be a lot more of that over these next 18 games. Question 2 of our starting 5 is for the entire panel. Which Grizz player, maybe it's Taylor Hendricks, have you been most intrigued by since the All-Star break? DeMichael, we'll start it with you.
I'm going to say Olivier Maxence Prosper.
Max.
Yeah, Max. I'm going to start with Max because Max is an interesting case here where he's in his 3rd season. This is a former first-round pick. A lot of people tend to forget that. When he was drafted to Dallas, he was a first-round pick. But he's a guy right now taking advantage of the opportunity. If you look at his numbers through his first 2 seasons compared to now, it's a significant jump across the board. 2-point field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage. And when you talk to him, it's opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's opportunity. That's what a lot of guys in the NBA who don't play a lot, they say, man, just give me the opportunity. Right. Just give me the opportunity. In this case, you're seeing the results behind the opportunity. He gives this team an extra jolt because, the Grizzlies don't have a lot of big-time athletes. Yep. That's just the roster is skilled, but it's not a lot of big-time athletes. So when he's out there, he stands out. Yep. He stands out as someone who can play above the rim, who can guard, those quick twitch players and things like that. So he gives them something different, and he's played solid basketball as of late. So I wasn't surprised to see them promote him from that 2-way deal to a standard contract.
Well said. We'll definitely have Max on my list as well. Michael, for you, which player have you been most intrigued by since All-Star break?
Well, I'm gonna defer Hendricks because the greatest of all time over there on the panel is going to take him from that standpoint. So I'm gonna go ahead and go Cedric Howard. And the reason why I'm gonna say Cedric Howard was because Cedric had missed 7 games that started before the All-Star break and right after the All-Star break, and you really wanted to see him take advantage of this last stretch of the season and not only just grow and show that he can be a number 1 option on a team that's obviously dealing with a lot of absences of frontline guys, but on most nights he can be a number 1 or a number 2. And he's got to take advantage of those opportunities the rest of the way. So that's going to be intriguing. So far, we've seen it. He had a really, really nice matchup with Kawhi Leonard on over the weekend in that close game against the Clippers. We saw him last night. VJ Edgecombe. It was two lottery rookies at the guard position going back and forth doing some big things. And he's going to have opportunities next week when you talk about with the Knicks coming into town and Jalen Luther King and the Celtics coming into town as well next week. So there are going to be opportunities for Cedric Howard to really blossom and show that he can be that primary go-to guy and deliver on both ends of the floor.
Jarvis, sounds like your man might be the man Michael Wallace was interviewing.
Well, it was
Hendricks.
very fortuitous that Michael looked into my mind and saw who I was thinking about. The guru. That's what makes him the guru. He can reach down and even from Philadelphia and reach in and read people's mind. I'm going to say Taylor Hendricks because, you got him in the trade from Utah, and you wonder, well, who is this guy? What is this guy? And he didn't play a lot at the beginning. Now he's getting more and more looks, and he is showing that he can play a lot of different positions. He's got size. He's got length. He's athletic.
Absolutely.
He can shoot the three at times. At times he looked really, really good. When he first came in, he couldn't hit the side of a barn from beyond the arc. But now he's starting to drop them with regularity. So I'd say, you get a good look at him to see if you want to keep him as you go forward with this team.
All right, moving to question number 3, Jarvis. I'm right with you. DeMichael, you were there for Ja Morant's media availability. I believe that was on Saturday before the Clippers game. What were your takeaways, your big takeaways from Ja's comments, and how should fans receive them in your mind?
I think should receive them from the standpoint of it didn't add much clarity on his Memphis future. I know that kind of was what people wanted to hear, most. And Ja sounded hopeful, that he'll be back. But then again, based on the comments that we heard from Klyman, based on the comments that we've heard from Ja, it just seems like a situation that's very murky, and you can almost tell that it feels like the end is coming. But that was kind of the takeaway. I wrote this morning that when we were talking to Ja, there was 3 or 4 different topics that we mainly hit on, and one of those topics was his teammates. Talked glowingly about them. One of those topics was injuries. Talked a lot about them. Everyone saw the quote about Jaren Jackson Jr. in the trade, but he had a lot to say with that. When it came to his future, which he was asked probably 3 or 4 different questions, when it came to his future, shorter answers. Didn't really want to get into that too much. So it didn't add much clarity on that standpoint.
All right, appreciate that, man, and everything that's come with it. I know there's been a sort of since then, some more fans have gotten excited about a possible return. Sounds like in your mind it's still awfully murky in terms of maybe it being in a Grizz uniform again.
Yeah, for sure. It's more unlikely than anything. I mean, the way I've described it is it's like if you got a crack in the door. Like the door is still cracked open a little bit. You probably can't see through it that much, but it's still cracked open a little bit.
That's one of those, it is until it isn't.
Yep, right. Exactly.
Jarvis, you got the next one with Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks up next for the Grizzlies on Thursday here at FedEx Forum. Do you think Flagg's already done enough to secure the Rookie of the Year award?
I do not believe so. I believe he's been very good, and he's really come on in some games. But with the way Con Knipple is playing, and Edgecombe's still up there in my estimation, it's like it's still anybody's race. And with Cooper being hurt, that's going to really be tough for him to hold on to whatever lead talons he may may have on that award. But he's really good. Now don't take anything away from it. And he's got the size, he's got the look and all that stuff. He's in a big market, but I don't think by any means it's sewn up yet.
No, I'm with you. He's got more work to do. That's why you're the Hall of Famer, brother. Con Kniple's been just as more efficient, and you could say arguably the same stats. Plus, he's playing for a team that's winning right now. Done really great work. Obviously, former teammate of Cooper's at Duke. Finally, this is something we've discussed a ton on my radio show as observers and obviously Grizzlies fans. Jarvis, you start us off. Which lottery prospect do you see as a perfect fit for the Grizzlies in this year's loaded NBA draft?
Well, it's funny you go to me first on this one because I was going to be the contrarian at the end, I thought. But I'm going to say Caleb Wilson from North Carolina, the big guy. He's 6'10", has good size, can run the floor. He was first team all ACC. I think he's hurt now, which would be right up the Grizzlies' alley. But, he has got, depending on what's going on with Zach Edey and everything, they need another big man that can protect the rim and, at least post up a little bit because they don't have have that right now. Even if Zach Edey comes back and is fine, they still don't have that other big man to come in and do that. I'm not expecting, Taj, who looked like he was getting his steps in up there in Philadelphia. What that man doing? Was he on the couch all the time he was out? You got to take 3 weeks to
it's been a minute.
A ramp up. Been a minute, yeah. But he's 40 years old. Hey, I get it. You got to work that tummy off a little bit. He looked pretty good while he's out there, so I give him that. But I'm going to say Caleb Wilson because they still need another big guy to fill that gap.
They're going to definitely need
as we look and see. This is what it looks like.
There you go. There's Caleb Wilson right there.
Yeah, man, I really like what he can do. He's got good moves. He can put the ball on the floor. Man. He can get to the rack. He can shoot. And I just really like he's got good skill. Yep. And, he's out of a good program. So he knows how to win. And all those things, all those intangibles, man. I mean, sometimes he kind of looks like Tripp out there a little bit the way he plays.
Yeah,
I think you need a player like that to go alongside Zach Edey.
I agree with you on the type of player he is. He's not dropping, it doesn't look like below 4, so you're going to have to go up or hope for some draft luck, obviously, to get him. Michael Wallace, for you, very curious on your pick. Do you see a perfect fit out there in terms of these draft prospects for the Grizzlies?
Hey, speaking of having to get some draft luck and going up, you have to go up if you're going to get this guy, and that's AJ DeBaster. If you need a superstar, this is a superstar waiting to be made in the NBA. He's already got all the charisma. He's got the game to go with it, the explosive athleticism. He can shoot. He's a 3-level scorer. And he's just one of those guys that was born to be a natural bucket getter and galvanize a fan base from that standpoint. So if that door, as DeMichael said, if that door is no longer cracked and or is barely cracked with Ja Morant, if you're going to replace Ja Morant, you got to bring in a superstar who's ready to go day one, embracing what this franchise is all about. So, hey, if you're going to swing for the Pistons, I'm going with AJ DeBaster.
Like it's going to have to be 1 or 2 to do that, certainly. DeMichael's going to have all the draft coverage for us over at commercialappeal.com. Curious on this early look, DeMichael, do you see a perfect fit for the Grizzlies?
I do see a perfect fit right now, and that's Cam Boozer. I mean, one, let's start with the obvious. He's a Duke guy.
Yeah. Kleiman loves his Duke guy.
You've been following the Grizzlies for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of Duke guys
they like him.
Come in this building, and Kleiman actually has a background where he spent some time, at Duke. But with all that being said, I mean, this guy is special. The rebounding is the number one thing that just stands out to me as why he would be a fit. You put him alongside Zach Edey, 2 of the best rebounders in college basketball the last 10 seasons. It could be. We wouldn't be talking about rebounding issues anymore in Memphis. We'd be talking about one of the top rebounding teams easily in the league. They're one of the top rebounding teams with Zach Edey himself. You put Cam Boozer beside him, and the thing about Cam Boozer is, 40% from three-point range this year, has that, has a very good feel defensively. Like, he doesn't move the best overall, but guys aren't bullying him on the defensive end. I think that point was probably, over-exaggerated about defensive limitations and stuff, because he's good. He's solid. He's very strong. The shooting. Can he be a number 1 in the league? That's going to be a question. He's definitely a very good number 2 in the making. But I just think of the pairing with him and Zach Edey, and then you got Cedric Howard as one of the best wing rebounders already. Yeah. So you imagine Cedric Howard as a wing rebounder in a couple of years, they're gonna get everything off the glass. So it's just gonna make the job much easier for the rest of the players you put around them.
Come at me, man. Look, the Grizzlies a few years ago had a player they drafted from Mississippi State. I can't remember his name. But he short-armed. I don't know how long Cam Boozer is. And, they had high hopes for him. Yeah, and he didn't last. Yeah, he didn't last in the league. He looked the part. They all thought he was the part. Yep. And do you think, and Michael Wallace, you've seen him, do you think Cam Boozer is better than that? He can shoot the 3 now, I'll give him that. Yep. Okay. And that's a big plus on Boozer's part. But I'm just afraid to go and say that he's going to be the next star, even though, everything I've seen out of him, he's gotten a lot of, like, chippy layups and things like that. And he's a big body, hard to move out of the way, but is he long enough to play against these NBA athletes he's going to see? What do you think?
No, I was just going to say he definitely is the safest pick. If you're talking about double-double production, he'll definitely give you that. Is there a tremendous amount of upside? Is he going to dominate at the power forward position in the NBA? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, the low bar for him is Wayne Simeon, who was great in college at Kansas, not really panned out in the pros because he didn't have that explosive ability. But we've also seen Marvin Bagley III come in and look like that at Duke and not necessarily be able to translate in the NBA as well. I think Cam Boozer's safe. I think his numbers will translate from a production standpoint, but it's going to be interesting to see because does he have that top end explosion to be able to score against front lines that are going to be every bit as athletic or even more so athletic than he is?
Yep, it's a great description of Boozer.
Sure.
Safe. I like the description there from you, Michael Wallace. Obviously, the son of a pro is going to come in and be a leader, ambassador type for you as well. No Darius Acuff mentioned, the Arkansas guard. Interested there. That might be my vote here. Now to the highlights. We got things to do. Our best dunk, dime, and defensive play. It's each week our panel votes on the best assembled highlight. This week, it's the best from this past week in the NBA. Hopefully, we'll have some Grizz representation here. Let's start with best dunk.
Wemby back the other way. Full gallop basket.
Reverse versus Houston. Oh, it's Ant two-handed.
Watch out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Ant Edwards coming with authority on that second one, two hands. Wemby, who has been a regular contributor to our highlights here. Which one is better to Michael Cole?
Oh, but the Wemby one is funny because of Şengün. Like Şengün's like just running for his life, like behind him trying to catch up. But man, it's just something about Ant and just I'm a charisma guy. Like you gotta show me something after the dunk and him. Like that's given. I don't care about the tech. I don't care about Wow. I just yammed on you. I'm going Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. Michael, is he right?
He's right. Anthony Edwards caught a dunk last week in our dunk dime in defense, and now he's dishing one. It seems like every other week these two guys are coming up with this, but I'm going to go with Ant Edwards as well.
Jarbo, we making it 3-0?
Triple play, yeah. I like the little reverse action there by Wemby, but no, Ant went in and yammed on his head, and then gave the big screen and the scream and the flex. That's what you're supposed to do when you yam on somebody like that. And when you see guys, 6'5" or so going and dunk, Wemby's an alien. I mean, he's from Zambodia or somewhere. So you expect him if he's going to get that kind of run toward the goal, he's going to jam.
There you go.
Shout out Prince Mongo, but if he's going to do that, he's supposed to dunk
running fast
like
as he can. Look at him.
With you. He couldn't keep up. Couldn't keep up. Best dime now. We moved to best dime.
10 for 21. Rooney up ahead. Here's Ant around his back.
Behind the back. That's Ant again.
Is that Ant?
Yep.
He's out of attack. Harden throws it ahead.
That's a full court, three-quarter court alley-oop from James Harden. So we got Harden versus Ant making another appearance in this one. DeMichael, you take it.
This is look, Ant and Rudy Gobert tag team for a nice little combination there, but James Harden could probably try that 3 more times. And I mean, yes, Evan Mobley, you got the go-go gadget arms and all that, but it's hard. I don't think I've seen 3/4 court. I mean, that's more than 3/4. That's the opposing free throw line lob. I'm going James Harden. This is an easy one for me.
How about you, Michael?
Hey, no question about it. And it's even more impressive when it's a chest pass, a 3/4 court chest pass, lob pass that far back, man. Spot on, hit him right at the rim. Great pass by James Harden, man. That's my vote right there.
Yeah, and he has certainly given that Cleveland team a lift in terms of what they can do now. Maybe in these playoffs they make the deeper run. Jarvis, for you?
Oh, for me, it's got to be Harden. The only other one I've seen do that with regularity is Penny Hardaway. I saw him do it in Treadwell in high school. I saw him do it at Memphis with Billy Smith on the other end from East High, and I saw him do it with in the pros with Shaq and some of those other people. And to do that and be right on target, get it right there, that's precision. And I got to give it to James.
Folks, some folks don't forget, and some folks don't too young to remember what an elite passer Penny was.
Oh, sure.
In addition to the bucket that he was. Let's move to best defensive play.
Deflected, stolen.
We've got some Grizzlies here.
With a rejection.
That's
That was
right in your
Ced. That was
face.
Cedric on that one.
Finals 3.
And another. And that was Gigi. All right.
Man.
So here's our Grizzlies representation. We got Cedric Coward versus Gigi Jackson on a couple of really nice blocks here. DeMichael, which one you like better?
Man, Ced got an opportunity to measure up his guy all the way there. Gigi Jackson just so happened to be under the rim, and it was do or die for Gigi Jackson. I think I'm going to side with Gigi Jackson.
Interesting.
On this one. I think Ced had the opportunity just to measure the steps and all that. Gigi Jackson just had to jump in and hope he wasn't going to be the highlight.
Yeah, I like your reasoning there. Michael, is he right?
He's absolutely right. Gigi did that off the vert, and which block means more? I think the Gigi means more because he's not necessarily known as a defensive guy or a rim protector. He needed to show that part of his game, and now that we see it, he's got to continue to do that because at 6'9", with that kind of length and athleticism, he should be doing that a lot more.
Agreed, Jarvis.
What I like about GG is he did it with the left hand, and it was like, well, tough 2-foot jump. But I'm going to have to be the contrarian. Oh, contraire, mon frere. I'm going to go with Cedric because Cedric is 6'5" with his long arms, getting up there and taking that thing. You know, okay, yeah, it's man on man. He knows I'm coming. You know he's there, and he still blocked it anyway. So I'll go with Cedric.
He did extend with those long
and
arms.
didn't foul him.
And did not foul. It was totally clean. It's like 1 and 1A, though, on these two. They were both really good.
Always good to get that Grizzlies representation in there. When we come back, we're going to take our weekly spin around the rest of the NBA. What did the panel think about Bam Adebayo's 83-point performance last night versus the Wizards? And here's a question for you. Think about it. Which coach is under more win-now pressure? Is it J.J. Redick with the Lakers or Mike Brown with the Knicks? We'll ask that question. Keep it locked. This is Grizz Beat on Grind City Media.
Fridays at FedEx Forum just got a whole lot more fun for the family. With the Family Friday ticket offer, a $35 game ticket gets you a $10 food voucher and access to pregame shoot-around. Additionally, for every 4 tickets purchased, you get an autographed item from the Grizzlies Vault. Capture moments that last a lifetime for birthdays, youth groups, and other family-friendly celebrations. Visit Grizzlies.com/Friday to grab your tickets today. Junior Grizzlies summer camps presented by Ortho South are the key to a slam dunk summer with over a dozen 4-day camps perfect for hoopers ages 6 to 14 looking to build fundamental skills and make unforgettable memories. With camps across the Mid-South in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas, you won't have to go far for the ultimate hoops experience this summer. Registration comes with a Junior Grizzlies jersey, lunchbox, and a basketball to take home. Don't wait, space is limited. Visit Grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies today to secure a spot for a fun-filled summer. That's Grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies.
Now that's the new edition way.
I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike?
2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night.
Gonna go crazy.
No barriers, no separation. It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Didn't you think draft night you were going to Miami?
Yeah.
They had that
Oh my God!
that was the thing.
That pre-draft interview where they're like, if you could go to dinner with 4 people, and you're like, Eric Spoelstra, Dwayne Wade.
That was literally before the national championship game. And they tried to make it seem like that was during pre-draft. So whenever all that came out on Twitter, I was just laughing.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Take your seat at the heart of Grizz Nation with a 2026-27 season ticket membership. You can experience all the action of the Grizzlies season with the best ticket prices, exclusive benefits, and access reserved for the most loyal fans. Be a part of what's next and be there for every towel-waving moment to come. Visit Grizzlies.com/season tickets to see the full list of pricing, perks, and benefits and make your deposit today. That's Grizzlies.com/season tickets. Welcome back to Grizz Beat. Now we're going to run some pick and roll. Our panel is going to pick one of 2 options and explain why they're rolling with it. This week's question: which big market coach is under more win now pressures? At the Lakers, J.J. Redick, or the Knicks, Mike Brown? I'll take this one to start, and it would be Mike Brown. It's easy. Brown was brought in to replace Tom Thibodeau, who had the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. The mission was clear: get them over the hump, get them to the finals. And so it doesn't get any more win now than that. In terms of the job that Mike Brown has. Anything less is going to be considered a failure. Now, how long they give him to do it remains to be determined. So for me, it's Mike Brown. Michael, who is it for you?
Yeah, it's an easy one for me, too. I'm going Mike Brown as well. A lot of the same things that you said. At the end of the day, he took over for a coach that went to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what that means? When you get this job, I want you to know that it's championship or bust. Another thing that has been known about Mike Brown over the course of his career, everywhere he goes, first couple seasons, they hit the ground running immediately. It happened in Cleveland. It happened in Sacramento. When he gets a job, They turned it around quick, and I think that's what New York has been expecting. So the pressure is definitely more on him. J.J. Redick, like, yeah, he's got pressure because LeBron's older or whatnot, but at the same time, like, if I'm J.J. Redick, I'm going in that office, I'm like, look what you gave me at center and power forward. Like, I'm playing the blame game if I'm J.J. Redick. Mike Brown can't play a blame game as much.
Exactly. Nobody's expecting J.J. Redick to make the finals. Are we right here, Jarvis, or you make the case for J.J.?
Oh, contraire mon frere. I'm going to be contraire. I'm going to go J.J. Redick because, Mike Brown just got there. And as you said, it depends on how long they give him. You know, it's like you come in the first year, you're supposed to win the championship the first year. I don't know. You know, he's got some talent and everything, but you turn around that fast? I don't know. J.J. Redick has been there a while. And management, as you were talking about, J.J. Redick may go in and say, look, you give me this and that. He say, well, look, we got this sky out here, we got this ocean out here. Yeah. People want to win now. Adios, amigo. You know, we don't need. They can blow you out at any second. You know, so I think he's been there long enough to say whether he can coach this team past where they've been. But this team though is on the downside, even with some of those guys having great years and Luka there and all that. But no, I'm thinking it's J.J. Redick. Mike Brown, to me, just got there. Give him a chance to see what he can do.
Okay, a vote for J.J. Redick there. Interesting. Michael Wallace, you with Jarvis? You with us?
Hey, I'm with Jarvis, man. We're about to lock this board up at 2-2. And here's the situation, man. Mike Brown, as you said, just got there, right? The last coach you fired because he couldn't get you into the NBA Finals. Listen, the Knicks are going to have to face some real questions looking in the mirror right now, because if Mike Brown doesn't get it done, you got to look at that roster, because you already went through two well-respected coaches. They're not going to fire Mike Brown after firing Tom Thibodeau. They're going to have to look at that roster and say, maybe this isn't working out. So it's going to be on the front office to figure that out. That buys Mike Brown just slightly more grace than what J.J. Redick, because if you ask if you look at the situation in L.A., is J.J. Redick a LeBron guy? Most people thought he was when he got the job. LeBron might be out the door. Is J.J. Redick a Luka guy? He's complained some about the way the Luka and the defense and all of these things are going. If you're J.J. Redick and you have Luka and LeBron, you can't say, I don't have this, and that. You got everything you need right there. Plus AR, Austin Reeves being one of the best bargains in the game as well, too. You better win with that roster, because if you don't, it's going to be a poor reflection on you. They're not going to change Luka. They probably won't change LeBron, or he may change LeBron. But at the end of the day, JJ will be the first to go among all three of those guys if somebody had to leave.
I can understand it. And you do have stars in L.A., and those stars are going to dictate possibly JJ's future, especially the man you mentioned, Luka Doncic. Interesting discussion there. Tied 2-2. Interesting. Not sure if you convinced Michael and ourselves, though. Knicks got to make a finals or bust. Got to. Now let's do some fill in the blank on three key topics. Michael, Jason Tatum's return from that Achilles injury to the Celtics means the East is what?
Boston's for the taking. Now, they took a loss last night, against San Antonio. They were beating the Spurs when Jaylen Brown was still on the floor before he got frustrated. And then he gets ejected, and the Spurs go take over and win down the stretch. The East is Boston's for the taking, and it wasn't just because Tatum is back. They were trending that way anyway. But now if Tatum could continue to build without any setbacks, it's Boston's for the taking, because they're psychologically going to have an edge on just about anybody else in that top four in the East.
It's still up for grabs. It just doesn't really change much to me. Like, Jason Tatum is a great player, right? And he's going to obviously make the team better. But at the same time, Boston, if you look at the numbers from last season, net rating, offensive rating, defensive rating, field goal percentage numbers, all these numbers, very comparable when they had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown last season to when they've had just Jaylen Brown in this, reworked group around him. It's going to come in handy when you go against certain opponents and they don't have the wing defenders to guard both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but the Knicks have that. The Pistons should have that as well. So it's when you talk about the top teams, it's still up for grabs to me. And Jason Tatum looks solid, but who's to say he's going to come back in, the next 2 months and return to the player we've seen, over the years? I really don't expect that to be the case. It still could win it. Like, the Celtics still could get out of the East, but I'm not about to crown them right now, knowing that the Knicks, the Cavs, and they just beat the Cavs, but those teams are very relevant in this conversation.
Well said, Jarvis. For you, Tatum's return to the Celtics means the East is what?
Well, I'm a Marvel man, but I'm going to lean the DC way on this one to Michael Cole and say that it's far from decided, because
I'm with you.
I think Detroit they hit kind of a wall there. You know, they're still young and they're still learning. Now they're playing with the targets on their back.
Yep.
And now we're going to see if they can play through that and work their way all the way through the end. This is the slog part of the season now for these teams at the top. If they want to really keep playing really hard, does Boston really need to make that top spot? Do they really have to have it? They know they're good. They can work their way into it. And having Jason Tatum back, that's funny though. You know, didn't Jason Tatum back come and play like 50 minutes the other night or something?
No minutes
like that?
restriction.
He had no minutes restriction. I wonder how that works out. But you know, it's like something that, you know, he's on the floor and they still got, you know, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Luther King, I guess you call him, and it's like something that that Boston is playing as well as it's playing. Peyton Pritchard is just being just absolutely crazy. They got a lot of good players, even though they let some go. But I still think it's far from being decided because Detroit is too good, and Toronto is going to knock some people around here as we go forward.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. There are other threats too in the East. It's not a done deal. DeMichael, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's historic streak of 126 consecutive 20-point games proves he's what?
He's an all-time great scorer. He's one of them ones, as the kids say. He can score in such a multitude of ways. You know, he has the step back, he has the sidestep, he has the midi, he has the three-pointer. He can get to the rim and finish in a different, you know, in a bunch of different ways. It's just, as he said, you know, he has an answer for all the questions, you know, on the test.
Every last one of them.
And he's got an answer. It's an all-time great scorer. You know, if I wanted to put my little hater hat on a little bit, you know,
please do.
Look, when we talk about records like this, I always go back to the point where, like in the playoffs, we saw him, I think it was three times he didn't score 20 points last year in the playoffs. So it's like I start thinking about stuff like that. It's like, okay,
it's fair.
Yeah, we're celebrating the streak that's
a regular season.
Like when you
streak.
play, it's a regular season stat. So it's like, I mean, it's cool. You know, the playoffs to me are when you really become an all-time great, but he got a ring. So, look, all-time great scorer. He's an artist, special player.
Yep, I'm with you. Michael Wallace, you're up next. His historic streak proves he's what?
Another title or MVP away from being in a discussion for top 5 guard of all time. I think if he stamps this with another title, another NBA title, or another MVP, he's got to be in that discussion with Kobe, with Michael. You know, you're talking about guys like that, man, with Steph. You know, I mean, there are names of Magic Johnson. Like, and then SGA is going to be right there on the cusp of rounding out that 5 if he can continue to score at this level and win at this level.
You, Jarvis, what he's done in terms of the consecutive game streak proves he's what?
I think he's Hall of Fame material. Just, I mean, if you look at him, he's the perfect, if you were going to design a basketball player like Michael Jordan, 6'6", long arms, 3-level scorer, can pass, can shoot, can consistently from 3. He doesn't have to have a 3-point game. His mid-range game is outstanding. Plus, you know, he's a foul merchant. He gets, you know, he's going to get 10, 12 free throws a game.
Yeah.
So that's going to pad, that's going to not, I don't say pad his stats. Well, I will. His stats go up because he's getting to the free throw line, and what is he, 89%, 90% free throw shooter. So that's a guy that you got to put him up there, like Mike said, top 5. If he can do this all the way through like that, and they did win the title with him last year. If they do it again, I don't see how you can't make him a Hall of Fame.
Yep. He also just raises the level of player everybody. It's not just what he's doing. It's everybody else. And finally, DeMichael, you start us off on this one. Miami Heat big man Bam Adebayo going for 83 points last night against the Washington Wizards made me feel what?
Man, I was hyped. Look, I'm at the end of the day, I always try to celebrate the game before I start hating and all that. Like, I got to celebrate the game. And as ugly and nasty as it was at times, 83 points is 83 points, man. He came out with 31 in the first quarter. I remember just the Grizzlies game ended, and I think there were about 4 or 5 minutes left in the Heat game. I instantly flipped the TV over, and like I'm tuned in. I'm like, oh, that's 70. That's 72. That's 77. He got those free throws. Man, I was hyped watching that. It's a cool thing to see because I said it on X yesterday, but we spent so much time debating who would be the next guy to do this, and it was always SGA or Steph Curry with all the three-pointers, Dame Lillard, or all these different type of players. No one ever said Bam Adebayo. That's what makes the NBA. What did they used to say? What was the old slogan? Where amazing happens.
Something new or something amazing happens every night. Something like, and that was it.
Bam Adebayo.
Michael Wallace, for you, that 83 points in the game last night made you feel what?
It made me feel FOMO, man, fear of missing out, because I was working last night. I was calling the end of that Grizzlies and Sixers game when this was going on. And I felt like, man, I missed out on everything, because when I saw it after our game had ended and they were talking about it in the locker room and you saw 83, I was like, no, that can't be. And then I finally saw some of the highlights and the clips once I got back to the hotel. And, hey, kudos to Bam for having the stamina to do it and the rhythm to do it. Kudos to his team for finding him and wanting him to get through with it and do it. I hadn't seen that since I saw the Lakers really, really set Kobe up to go for 61 in his farewell game against, a few years ago, the final game before he retired. And then you got to give a cap tip to Eric Spoelstra for saying, I'm going to get out the way. I'm going to play him the minutes in a playoff race. No matter what happens, he's going to go for a historic night. So I felt fear of missing out because I couldn't see it in real time. But thank God for social media and highlights. I was able to catch most of them afterwards.
I'm with y'all. It's just too much hate, but too much hating going on around since he's done this.
Yeah.
Folks trying to pick it apart and everything else. Jarvis, I'm curious how it made you feel last night seeing Bam score those 83.
Hate on me, baby. Hate on me. Bring it this way. What's the opposite of kudos? Dookudos? He said kudos to his coach. Yeah. Dookudos to the Wizard, man. They should have put that man under the bench for doing all that stuff. Bam Adebayo is not that kind of player that you would even expect.
I agree with
Julius Randle, maybe,
yeah.
but Bam Adebayo, and then what was he shot? 46 free throws? Come on, man.
Yeah.
46 free throws?
43, 46,
he made
somewhere
32
in there.
of them.
Yeah.
What you call them? Philadelphia shot 46 against the Grizzlies.
36 and 43. Yeah.
That's really good. I see why Ty Jerome got mad and got ejected. But 46 free throws. He was 7 of 22 from 3. They just let him just jack up, just shoot everything you can, and hopefully it'll go in. He was hot. I'll give him that. 83 is 83. Yeah, I'm gonna stick my lip out. You sticking your lip out over there? Fine.
Yeah. No.
Fine. Why the Wizards should have had him? He should have been They should have put him next to the popcorn machine.
Agreed. Zero pride displayed.
Look right there. Look at that.
Zero pride displayed. Again, I don't know how hard they tried there after a while.
This is at about 77 points right here. Like,
they're triple team. He still scored. Wizards, y'all. Man, that's my Anthony saying. Y'all suck, man. What's wrong with y'all?
There you go. When we come back, we'll take a look at what is a very special top 10, special in this case, because it's my top 10 list in the wake of Jason Tatum's return from the Achilles tear. It's the top 10 comebacks in NBA history. Talking team, individual, career, games. I rank them, and the panel will tell me if I got it right. Keep it locked. This is Grizz Beat on Grind City Media.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. One exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Tiger, I guess, probably delivered or created the biggest headline from the weekend by leaving open the possibility that he will play at the Masters.
I don't think it's very likely, but anything with Tiger seemingly throughout his career, even in the late stages coming up injuries, has been possible. I mean, it will take a Herculean effort, I would believe, Gary, for him to be able to make it. But I think I'll say this, if it is all physically possible, I think he will do it.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Fridays at FedEx Forum just got a whole lot more fun for the family with the Family Friday ticket offer presented by Ashley Furniture. $35 gets you a ticket to the game, a $10 food voucher, and access to pregame shoot-around. Additionally, for every 4 tickets purchased, you get an autographed item of your choice from the Grizzlies Vault. Capture moments that last a lifetime. Visit Grizzlies.com/Friday to grab your tickets today. Welcome back to Grizzbeat. Let me roll up my sleeves here, because we flipped the script. Usually it's Michael Wallace and his top 10 and us going at him. This week he let me do the honors. We put together a top 10 comebacks in NBA history list, obviously in the wake of Jason Tatum returning from an Achilles tear. These are career comebacks. They're in-game, single-game comebacks, injury comebacks. Took a while. Very proud of my research here. Going to present it to the group. We'll start at number 1, and you need a GOAT on top. Some may dispute this, but Michael Jordan's got to be number 1, winning 3 titles after his 1993 retirement. The man was playing minor league baseball. He had left the league, comes back, wins 3 more, puts him at 6, and obviously puts him in rare air with those 6 titles. LeBron's still trying to chase the man to this day. Number 2, I figured a lot of folks are going to have number 1, Cavs 3-1 comeback versus the 73-win Warriors in the 2016 finals. Cavs become the first team to come back from down 3-1 in the finals. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 3, Kevin Durant's return from 2019 Achilles tear. And here's the reason why. The man has averaged 26 points in all 6 seasons since he's returned. Really didn't have a drop-off. At least 26 points, I should put it. Certainly averaged more in several of those seasons. It's the level he got back to after the Achilles tear at 30 years old. Number 4, everybody's seen this one. There's been 30 for 30s done on it. Reggie Miller's 8 points in 9 seconds at MSG versus the Knicks. It was the choke game in the 1995 Eastern Conference semis. Number 5, Willis Reed's Game 7 return in 1970, the NBA Finals. Obviously, I know this. Willis Reed, I think, only had 2 field goals in that game, but he inspired all of his teammates. They all said when Willis ran through the tunnel, they were going to win. It was the Knicks' first title in 1970. Number 6, and maybe this is a little sentimental, Derrick Rose's 50 points.
Special night.
Exactly. Special night. DeMichael nailed it. It was everything that Derrick Rose had been through. Obviously, we're partial to Derrick with him having played the year at Memphis, but with all those surgeries coming through it, where he was in his career to score those 50 for the Minnesota Timberwolves, as DeMichael said, it was a special night. Number 7 is Paul George's return. Some might not have this on the list, but it's what he got back to. If you remember, he had a compound fracture in his leg, and a lot of folks wondered if his career was going to be able to continue. He got back to an MVP level, and a few years later was 3rd in MVP voting. Number 8, it's the Utah Jazz's 36-point comeback against the Nuggets. DeMichael asked me if I remembered it. No, I didn't. This is actually just the largest comeback in NBA history, so it's why I've got it on the list. Some of you might not remember number 9, T-Mac. Scored 13 points in 33 seconds for the Houston Rockets to come back and stun the San Antonio Spurs by 1 point. And then number 10, and if you remember Dikembe Mutombo sitting on the floor, and Michael Wallace, I give him credit, he reminded me of this one. 8 seed Denver rallied from an 0-2 hole. That's the part I forgot, to upset the number 1 Sonics back in 1994. So a lot of comebacks here. I'm in a different role, going to let y'all shoot at me. And Michael Wallace, I'll give you the first shot. Did I miss anything?
Right. You absolutely missed the greatest comeback. Magic Johnson literally came back from a death sentence to come back from the HIV diagnosis to end up playing in the NBA, not only getting back to the league at a time when there was a lot of misinformation floating around about HIV and AIDS. I mean, that was devastating to an entire sports industry for him to have to be forced into retirement. Now, there was some conspiracy theories and all of that. I know that's out there. But the fact that Magic not only came back a year and a half later or 2 years later, he also was the All-Star Game MVP. They ended the game on his hook floater in front of Isaiah Thomas to go game point in the All-Star Game. And I believe it was in Orlando that year in early 90s for sure. But Magic Johnson coming back should have been on your list when you talk about greatest comebacks of all time, man. You missed one there. You were easy target on that one. That's the one I'm taking.
And it should be number 1, according to you? You lost your mind. I thought you said greatest comeback. Excuse me if I misheard you.
Hey, listen, man. Jordan came back and done what he was always doing. He was a champion before he left. He was a champion after he came back. The only thing that's a mystery about Jordan is that they should have won 8 in a row. They probably would have won 8 straight if he didn't come back. I would say Magic would be at least number 2 because I'm an MJ guy too.
That's fair, and it's personal reasons. We know how you are, Michael. No, that should be on the list, and I remember that All-Star game and that MVP performance. We were all rooting for him to get MVP, and was just so happy that he was back. So we'll absolutely take that one. DeMichael, for you, anything wrong on the list? Is there something you'd add?
Yeah, I think you missed a pretty good one. In fact, I would put this one in the top 5, right above Willis Reed, right below Reggie Miller, somewhere in that range. I'm going to go with Game 2, 2019, first round, the Clippers coming back against the Golden State Warriors in 2019. 31-point comeback, the largest in playoff history. It was the 8-seed Clippers, I believe, against the 1-seed Warriors at the time as well. This was the Warriors with Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala. DeMarcus Cousins got hurt very early in that game, but it was an inspirational game. Lou Williams, I think, had 36 points. Montrezl Harrell, like the bench guys, came back
I remember it now.
and willed that team to that Game 2 victory. Danilo Gallinari, I think, had a big game. That was Shai's rookie year, actually. He didn't play, as well. But yeah, those guys, that was kind of a real moment of like this smaller, unheralded group of guys. None of these guys are max contract players. A couple 6-man of the year candidates. Danilo Gallinari going against this team that was an all-time great team. 31-point comeback. Everyone thought they were getting swept. Didn't happen. And it was in Oakland. It was in the old Oracle Arena. I got to put them near the top.
Yeah, and playoffs, like you mentioned, largest in playoff history.
Largest in playoff history. 31-point comeback.
No question should be on the list. This is why this man is a veteran reporter for the Commercial Appeal, always educating a brother. Jarvis Greer, any problems with my list? Did I have anything too high or too low?
I think I'm going with, like, I didn't do the research that DeMichael Cole did. I'm retired now. My feet are up on the couch, and I'm enjoying myself, eat a bonbon or two. Yeah. But I'm thinking that, when you're a kid and you're 12 years old and you're watching your favorite teams on the NBA's on, and Willis Reed coming out of the tunnel. I think Kevin Durant should drop down below Willis Reed because you're talking about guys have come back from injury and played well. Yeah. Even Achilles injuries. He's not the only one to do that. He's one of the best to do it. But just Willis Reed, and like as you said, he came back out of the tunnel, and me as a kid, wow, is he going to play? Is he going to play? I'm watching it on TV. And then the Knicks were my favorite team, full disclosure. He comes out. They win the title. The Garden's going crazy. And it's one of those things, as you said, he willed his team. The rest of his team took the inspiration from that to win their first championship in New York in Madison Square Garden. That has left an indelible mark on me. I've talked about that before on this show. And I have to say that he's got to be higher. Kevin Durant could be a little bit lower.
I'm not going to fault you for that one there. I know one thing. I had a fun time doing this. I hope y'all respect the research.
Oh, I totally
y'all picking at me about what's not right. I hope you respect the research done in that. I'm giving it back to Michael next week. It took me too long to compile the list. Now we'll do some confidence meter. It's our weekly gauge of our panel's belief level on 3 key topics. We'll start here. Michael, how confident are you that tomorrow's Celtics-OKC matchup is a preview of this year's NBA Finals?
I'm confident. I'm confident. You know how I feel about Jaylen Brown and the Celtics and what they're doing. Oklahoma City is playing well right now that Shai's back. I'm not very confident because I respect San Antonio. I think they're real. I think Denver, when they get healthy, they're going to be a threat. And also in the East, I don't think Boston's going to have a cakewalk. They're number 2 right now. I do think they can catch Detroit. But having said that, I am confident that this is the finals preview.
Jarvis?
I'm not confident, and I'm going to say why, because I still think Detroit has enough left in the tank. They've taken a few lumps. They'll get themselves off the deck, dust themselves off. I think Oklahoma City might be the team that gets through in the West, but I'm going to say not confident because the Celtics are still behind. They still got to climb that mountain, and Detroit is still up there. We'll see how they can play when they're, being chased rather than chasing.
What's your confidence level, DeMichael? You mentioned, the Celtics, it's not just a done deal here.
Right, exactly, and that's one of the reasons I'm not confident on this one, and I'm not confident on either side. I think as good as these two organizations, have been over the last 3-4 years, like this was the final match we all thought was going to be last season too. I'm still not confident because of the fact that on the Eastern Conference side, you could make an argument for Detroit. You can make an argument for New York. We saw what New York did, the Knicks did to the Celtics last year, and that Celtics roster was probably a better one than this one overall when you factor in the depth. And then the Western Conference, yes, OKC is the class, right? But a healthy Nuggets team, I'm not doubting Jokic. I mean, we just saw the game the other day where they went down to the wire in OKC, and Oklahoma needed Shai to bail them out with a couple of three-pointers down the stretch.
The last second shot to win it.
A couple of them. So I think Denver's going to be right there. We've seen what San Antonio has done against OKC this season. So I'm not confident. I think it's probably the most likely matchup, but I'm not going to sit here and beat the horn and say it's going to happen.
No, I'll buy you. I'll buy that as well. Jarvis, how confident are you that the Grizzlies and Ja Morant are in a salvageable situation moving forward? Yes, sir. You start us off with this tough one.
Well, I made my answer not confident before I read the Michael Cole's wonderful article, and with the keyhole crack there might be something. And I don't know that. I just still think that there is a ray out there. I'm not confident because I don't know what management wants to do. If it's a divorce waiting to happen in this situation. Ja is putting it all on management by saying he wants to come back. He wants to play in Memphis. I want him to play in Memphis. I'm a full disclosure. I'm a fan. I want to see this guy coming out here do the things he does. He can still yam on folks. It's not like he can't. He himself said there's nothing wrong with his legs. He's just got to get his elbow straight. So it's one of those things that it's murky, man. It's really murky. So I'm not confident that he'll be back, but there's still a chance.
Yep. DeMichael, you mentioned that word murkiness.
Yeah.
What's your confidence level?
Exactly. Not too confident on this one. Like Kevin Garnett once said after he won a championship, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Yeah. But I'm not confident on this one. I mean, we've seen what's been put out there in the public. We see the situation, just what it's become, and just we see, the situation that the Grizzlies have put themselves in from saying that we're pivoting to a younger build. What that means to me is you're going in a direction where you're going to build around a whole new group of guys, out with the old, in with the new. Mm-hmm. And Ja Morant so happens to be part of the old. So I don't know if he'll be back. I wouldn't be confident in this being a salvageable situation.
Michael, that's two not confidence on this being a salvageable situation. Do you have a confidence level that's higher?
I think I'm confident that it is salvageable. Right? Can it be salvaged? Yes. Are there willing participants to salvage it? That's the big question. But also, we got to understand, man, there are factors beyond both Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies' control here. You have to have a landing spot for the guy. They intentionally said we're open to trades for a whole month ahead of the trade deadline and still could not get to the finish line of making the trade happen. They made the Jaren Jackson one happen. They made the Desmond Bane one happen. We've seen that, again, Ja's market value is not where it needs to be. And you're not just going to have another Ja Morant available. I was on the road this past week with the team. And even in Brooklyn, even in Philadelphia, you're walking through the concourse and there's thousands of people shoulder to shoulder. And every 10 or so people you pass, there's somebody with a Grizzlies number 12 jersey on. You just can't replace that. You can't just give up on that if there's a chance. Is it salvageable? I think so. Will they want to? That's another question altogether. But that door is not completely closed because there are factors beyond both Ja and the Grizzlies' hands here.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There you go. Door slightly cracked. And finally, DeMichael, how confident are you? Jarvis mentioned the Pistons' recent struggle, that they're a major cause for concern. It dropped a season worst 4 in a row before the win over Brooklyn last night.
Yeah, I'm definitely confident on this one. I was going to say very confident, but I'm going to lean confident, particularly because when you look at this Detroit team, the makeup of it, like you got the head of the snake in Cade Cunningham, but there's, to me, an over-reliance on him that can be exposed when you get into a playoff series. Boston won a championship because when teams took away Jason Tatum from being Superman, Jaylen Brown was able to win Finals MVP.
Absolutely.
OKC, so many games where they were in slugfest last season, and we talked about Shai Gilgeous having multiple games in the playoffs last year where he didn't reach 20 points. Well, a swarming defense and having a Jalen Williams, having a Chet Holmgren, that helped him out. Jalen Duren, he's the guy who can take that step potentially, But I don't know if I trust those other guys, to be those players. So when you go in a playoff series and you're going against the Knicks, and they got Jalen Brunson, they got Karl Anthony Towns, and then you go against, what the Celtics have. Then you go against, the Cavs, and they got James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. It's just I'm not confident that when you go in the playoffs and these teams say, we're taking away A, what's your B? Your B is going to put you over the top.
Yep, that's what we're going to find out about the Pistons. For you, Michael Wallace, how serious are these concerns? How confident are you that they are serious?
Yeah, I'll call DeMichael's offering right there, and I'll raise him the fact that Asur Thompson has been injured too. So your neutralizer on the other end defensively, they don't have that guy that's going to go out and be a stopper for the other team's best player. When he's injured, it's kind of thrown them into a tizzy. They've lost to a lot of elite teams over this last 2 weeks. I think it's a major concern. I'm very confident that these struggles are real for the Detroit Pistons. We'll see. They don't have the kind of experience. And now with the way things are lining up, even if they keep the number one, they're going to have to play one or two. They're going to have to play someone among the Heat, the Orlando Magic, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Charlotte Hornets, all teams that are dangerous and carefree right now. That could be a potentially dangerous matchup for an inexperienced playoff team like the Detroit Pistons.
Jarvis, for you, your confidence level.
I'm going to say not confident because I believe I think there was a Grizzlies team a few years ago that down the stretch had struggled a little bit but still made a deep run in the playoffs. And I think this is one of those things that this is something they got to go through as a young team. And I think JB has been there before. And I like JB. I'm a big JB fan. JB Bickerstaff, head coach. So I'm not confident. I think they'll weather the storm.
Okay. We'll wrap up this week's edition of the show by taking a look, as we always do, of what's ahead for the Grizzlies. And then to call your shot on the stretch of these games for the Grizzlies. Obviously, Thursday, we've mentioned it. The Dallas Mavericks coming to town with Cooper Flag. And then Friday, March 13th, the Grizzlies will be at Detroit. And then Monday, March 16th, at Chicago. Now it's to our Call Your Shot segment. One bold prediction from each of our panelists about this upcoming 3-game stretch before we're back in here next Wednesday. Michael Wallace, you start us off.
I think when you talk about the rookies right here in this matchup, I think Cedric Howard is going to outdo Cooper Flag, have a better game. I'm not sure which team is going to win, but when those two guys get matched up, I think Cedric Howard is going to have the edge over Cooper Flag.
Very bold there. DeMichael Cole, call your shot.
I'm saying Jalen Duren is going to have a career night against the Grizzlies. That's where I'm going. Jalen Duren, look, the Grizzlies,
they don't have anything to combat him.
They don't have anything.
No.
He's big. He's one of the more physical bigs in the league. His career high is 33 points. His career high is 23 rebounds. One of those will probably come down if the Grizzlies continue to play these competitive games late to the fourth quarter. He could have a monster game.
All right, I like that one. Jarvis, Greer, call your shot.
I'm going to say just 2-1. I think that the Grizzlies are getting tired of going 3.5 quarters being in the lead
That's been
and
the pattern.
then losing a game. And a couple of these teams that they're on there they could beat. I think they could beat Chicago and probably Dallas. So I'm going to just say 2-1 just to take the safe bet like you were calling Boozer. I'm going to go with safe bet, say 2-1.
There's a go. Hall of Famers going 2-1 for the Grizzlies over this next 3-game stretch. That is our show for this week. Thanks as always to our panelists, Hall of Famer Jarvis Greer, Michael Wallace, and of course to Michael Cole. Thanks as well to CJ Hurt and our wonderful team here at Grind City Media. For our entire team, I'm Jason. Keep grinding.